Hello, and welcome back to another story time. This week, our book is titled Beans Baker's Best Shot, and it's by Richard Torrey. So, Beans Baker's, well, that sounds like a name. And then the second part of the title, Best Shot. So, best shot, what do you think that refers to? Look at the cover to help you. So, what sport are they playing? Do you know this sport? So, this sport has two names. So, it can be called soccer or football. So, they're playing football or in soccer. And when we kick the ball towards the goal, we call that a shot. So taking a shot at the goal or kicking the ball towards the goal. You don't have to make a goal. So goal is getting the ball past the goalie and into the net. But a shot on goal can be above the goal or to either side of the goal. So it doesn't mean it has to go in. So you just take a shot, and some of them you make and some of them you don't. This story is going to be about Bean Baker's best shot. And maybe the person wearing the red shirt and the white shorts, maybe that's Beans Baker. What do you think? All right, we're gonna have to read to find out. Are you ready? All right, follow along, and here we go. The game was almost over. The score was tied. With just seconds to play, the winner would go to the championship. So here we're at the end of the game, and the score is tied. So score is tied, it means the score is the same for each side. There are two teams, and they both have the same score. And whoever wins goes to the championship, so the last game. Beans passed the ball to his best friend Chester, and then raced toward the goal. Chester passed it back. Beans kicked with all his might, so as hard as he could. Goal! Great pass, shouted Beans. Great shot, Chester replied. Thanks, said Beans. Could I get a shot of the 2 stars? Asked Beans' father. Aw, Dad, said Beans. So Dad wants to take a picture of them. So remember, this is not the championship game. This is just a playoff game. Playoff games help to decide who will be in the championship game. The championship game was all Beans and Chester could think about. They made plans in their secret treehouse. If we win, let's put our trophies here, said Chester. Great idea, said Beans. So these two friends, they play soccer together, and all they can think about is the championship game. So championship game is going to be the next game. And they have a really cool tree house. It was the day before the big game. Coach Munhall told Beans and Chester they would be in the starting lineup. Way to go, Chester, shouted Beans. Way to go, Beans, shouted Chester. So these friends are really good friends to each other. They're always cheering each other on and giving compliments to each other. Out on the practice field, Beans raced for the ball. Chester raced too. They both kicked at the same time. Crunch! Oops, said Chester. Ouch! Cried Beans. Uh-oh. It looks like Beans is hurt, huh? I'm sorry, said Chester. I'm okay, groaned Beans. We better have it x-rayed, said Beans' father. So he has to go to the hospital to get it checked. At the hospital, Beans and his father met with Dr. Walt. You'll be as good as new after the cast comes off, said Dr. Walt. Cast? Cried Beans. Do you know what a cast is? So a cast is something if we break a bone or hurt a ligament or muscle really badly and we cannot move it for a while, a cast we put on to hold, in this case, to hold the bone in place so that the two pieces of bone can grow back together into one. Because his bone is broken. So if we put the cast on, and the cast is hard, but he has the championship game, right? Uh-oh. Your foot has a fracture. So a fracture is a small break, explained Dr. Walt. The cast will help it to heal. But I will miss the championship game, cried Beans. Yeah, so unfortunately he will miss the championship game. Beans' friends were sad to see him on crutches the next morning. So there he has two crutches. The crutches help him to walk because he cannot walk on the other foot, right? They tried to cheer him up. Chester was too nervous to talk to Beans. He hid as his best friend hobbled past him. Yeah, so poor Chester. Did Chester do it on purpose? No. So just like many things that we do, many sports or activities, sometimes we can get hurt or injured when playing them. Everyone has to sign Beans' cast, shouted Lindsay. It will be our good luck charm today. So oftentimes, if we get a cast, our friends will sign their name on it. And maybe they'll put a message. Unless Chester signs it, whispered Sheldon. Then it will be our bad luck charm. Thanks to you, Beans can't play, said Sheldon. It was an accident, said Chester. I would never hurt Beans. We're best friends. You mean you were best friends, said Sheldon. So this Sheldon, he doesn't seem like a nice person, huh? No, because he's trying to make trouble with Chester. Chester felt terrible. He couldn't sign Beans' cast now. After school, the team headed to the soccer field. Are we ready, Wildcats? Asked Coach Munhall. Roar! Went the team. Nobody noticed Chester sneaking the other way. So there's Chester in the back. See Chester? Look back by the buses. The fans were arriving. The other team was on the field. Soon the big game would start. Chester has to sign my cast before the game, said Beans. Everyone looked around, but there was no Chester. Chester knows the game is starting, said Molly Mall. Where is he? I think his feelings are hurt, said Russell. We have to find him, said Lindsay. Without him, We're doomed. So remember, they want good luck, and they think if everyone signs the cast, then they will have good luck. But Chester didn't sign the cast yet, and he has to sign it before the game. Too bad Chester doesn't have a cast we could sign, said Sheldon. Yeah, so Sheldon is not being very kind. Why don't we sign a soccer ball for him? Said Coach Munhall. That would cheer him up. Perfect, said Beans. So does Beans seem upset or angry or mad? No, I think Beans knows it was an accident, and he wants to cheer his friend up. He doesn't want his friend to feel bad or to feel sad about what happened. Everyone wrote a message to Chester on the soccer ball. How are we going to give this to Chester? Asked Molly Mall. We don't know where he is. Leave that to me, said Beans. So here they signed all the messages on the ball. Let's see some of them. The one in the center. Chester, please sign my cast. Your best friend, Beans. The other one. Chester, the team needs you. So they're writing positive messages on the ball for him. The referee blew his whistle. The game was about to start. Hurry, said Russell. Good luck, Beans, said Molly Mall. We are counting on you, said Lindsay. I'll give it my best shot, said Beans. So in this case, the last sentence, I'll give it my best shot. So that means I'll try my best. So he's going to try his best. He's going to give it his best shot. Beans knew right where to look. The secret treehouse. Special delivery for Chester, he shouted. Then Beans took careful aim and kicked. Whomp! The ball flew right into the treehouse. Wow, that was a good shot, huh? He got it right in the treehouse. First try. Wow, said Chester. He read every message and smiled. So you're not mad? Asked Chester. Beans shook his head. But I will be if you won't sign my cast, he said. So you see here, Chester was upset, right? He felt bad and he felt sad. But his friends wrote some small messages to cheer him up. And now he knows that everyone isn't angry at him. They're not mad and they're not sad. Chester scurried down and signed Beans' cast. Best friends? Asked Chester. Best friends, said Beans. Now come on, there's a championship game to win. Back at the soccer field, things were not going well for the Wildcats. They were behind by 2 goals. But when they saw Beans with Chester, everyone began to cheer. Are you ready to play, Chester? Asked Coach Munhall. I'll give it my best shot, said Chester. Good work, Beans, the coach said. Yeah, so Beans, his job was to go get Chester, right? And now they have Chester on their team. Let's see if they can catch up. The whole team began to play better with Chester on the field. Sheldon scored. Then Russell scored. The game was tied, so same score. So each 2-2. It looks like our luck is changing, shouted Beans. With just seconds to play, Chester passed the ball to Molly Mall. then raced toward the goal. Molly Mall passed it back. Chester kicked with all his might, so as strong as he could, as hard as he could. Goal! The Wildcats had won the championship. Everyone ran onto the field. They jumped up and down. They gave each other high fives. Chester was lifted onto his teammates' shoulders. After Coach Munhall handed out the trophies, it was time for the team picture. "Great shot, Chester," said Beans. "Your best shot ever." "Thanks," said Chester. "And this is our best shot ever," said Beans. So here, the photographer is taking the picture. So as we see, this story is about supporting your friends and staying together as a team. And even when one person gets hurt, so Beans Baker was their best player, right? But the team stayed together and they cheered each other up and they won the championship. We also learned that when our friends are down and sad, saying nice things or writing small messages with compliments or positive words can cheer them up and make them feel better, right? I hope you enjoyed this week's book, and until next time, bye-bye.